Well, hello and welcome. You are watching GMODISM channel and we are here. This is your host Eric, and if you're new here, this is the Empirical testing, and we are basically putting some theories to the test and checking if it's true or not and coming up with some good ways to do things, hopefully. Well, in any case, today I thought we should look a little bit at Doom CRAM systems, and yes, we are in the midst of some APS testing and doing those videos. The thing is, well, I already recorded half the video, but I'm a little short on time, so we're gonna do Doom CRAM video, because this test is not gonna be as long. And basically, I want to know how small we can make a Doom CRAM system, because I made a lot of Doom CRAM turrets before. I'm not new to making Doom CRAMers. Here, for example, you have the 1970 Mark III CRAM of the detonator, and this is the class Rock. Yeah, well, anyways, this is actually gonna be the updated new turret on the Gimli class. I did complete it a while ago, that is true, but well, I haven't started officially updating the Gimli class yet, which is sad, but it's true. Anyways, this is the upgraded version, and most people would consider this to be a Doom CRAM. If you're new to From the Depth, a Doom CRAM is basically a cram shell from a really big turret like this one. This is a D17, that's a diameter 17 turret. This does have some armor, but it's mostly solid 3D cram Tetris, which makes it pretty dense. This is a scary thing, but other than it being a Doom CRAM that can make a lot of damage, the most important thing for a Doom CRAM to actually be considered a Doom CRAM, at least according to me, that is that the shell health is so high that most active defenses will not be able to even take it out. Now, obviously, if you make a cram cannon and that cram cannon is unable to shoot through the enemy's armor, you have a bad cram system. Crams are super slow, and yeah, they're slow. So when they hit, they should get through, and cram is the weapon that is easiest to penetrate things in this game. If you want to have a pure penetrator, crams is gonna do it for the lowest cost, I'm pretty sure. We're gonna do some Imperial tests about that too in the future, but I'm almost 100% sure that's the cheapest weapon to penetrate all through the enemy's armor. Maybe aside from kinetics, but you know, what the hell. Should you go and bring in some like melee rams on a stick? You can do that, but when we talk about weapons we shoot, Pack can do that pretty well too, but it's super expensive. Cram can do it for pretty cheap. Diff APS is of course very cheap too, but you can't make it penetrate too deep as a diff gun. Anyways, that aside, this is of course excluding small cram systems. I have so many cram cannons in my folders here, which is available for all of the commissioned officers to access. So I think we should actually say big thanks to all the commissioned officers in the army of GMODISM. Captain Awesome Pupper, Captain Shuro, Commanders Ben Velke and Delphin, Lieutenants Ali, Ant-O, Cravey, Flores Dagan, Josef Ishovsky, Owen, Parbagreed, Vincent Veritas, Rick Proel, Scoobrooks, and of course all our cadets. And if you want to support the channel, you can also join the government of GMODISM, which is a new option if you want to be shout out, but not necessarily have too many rewards, but you want all your support money to go to me, because of course YouTube memberships and Patreon, while they have the rewards, they do take their cut, of course. So yeah. Anyways, If you're a commissioned officer in the Army of GMODISM, you of course have access to all of the turrets. That's what I wanted to say. And I'm excluding like small CRAM cannons from this metric, because obviously a tiny CRAM like this, it's not gonna get through very far at all. Like this thing, shell health of like 4,800. Yeah, it's like easy to shoot down, obviously. Super small CRAM cannons will not be able to get through very far. And that's like not what I'm referring to, really. When I'm talking to bad CRAM systems in that context, it's more like bad CRAM system for being a battleship weapon. If you're building a big battleship, if you're having CRAM cannons on them, they obviously should be able to get through the enemy defenses. And if your shell health is somewhere below like 70,000 or something like that, obviously you're not gonna get through. No, indeed. When we're talking about Doom CRAM systems, they need to get through the enemy, and doing that you need to clock in over 100,000 in terms of health. Because now we're getting like off track a big bit here, as we usually do on this channel. If we are looking at a here we have a little sieves, and we're just gonna quickly design a regular sieves shell, 2 gunpowder casing and munition warheads to head, 500 millimeters. So if you look at this, anti-munition damage is 30,000, and realistically, if you have a battleship and you have some diff guns to shoot at stuff, you also have a munition defense head, of course. Thank you. Actually, high explosive does more damage, but it's harder to see on this menu here, and they need to be accurate. Anyways, so it's like 30k damage from this anti-munition defense shell from our diff APS. And realistically, we usually have like at least 3 diff APS shooting at the enemy incoming shell. That's of like big value. And that basically means, well, 90,000 damage in this case, which is pretty standard. And if your shell will die from that, you've failed. If it almost dies from that, like most of their health is already spent, the CRAM shell's damage will actually decrease. So if it almost dies, it will do damage, and that's bad, but it will do much less damage than if we didn't intercept it. So you want your shell health to be a good bit over the expected damage that shell will take. So if we are at 220,000 health, well, if we get 3 diff shell shots onto this 90k, we still have like more than half of the payload intact, and yeah, that's like a proper good CRAM shell. And when I built the Gimli, we did some trials there, and there is actually, it actually had another CRAM cannon in the beginning. So if we go down here, it had the crusher, the AOG crushers it had. So this is the original turret, and I should spawn the detonator 1970 class A turret, just the first iteration of this turret. And it uses metal armor. Isn't that very cute? Just on the front. Well, anyways, this shell is 170,000, and we can see while the kinetic and EMP damage, explosive damage, it does carry damage. If we compare it to the upgraded version here, which is more reliant on Frag, to be honest, this is 120,000 in Frag, 13,000 in explosive. And this is, what is it? 100 and almost 40,000 in Frag. And yeah, it's like generally just more damage. It seems like there. We do have a reload time of 16 seconds, however, whereas the original one has a lower of 14 seconds. That makes a difference too. This is more accurate due to the long barrel, however. But in any case, what I was wanting to say that the previous version, like the first version, is pretty like strong that too. The current Gimli has the Mark II. This is the Mark III basically, but this was the original turret I thought out. So technically there are some advantages of having multi-barrel turrets, but when we're talking about tournaments, those advantages kind of go away. So I think it was Belcan from our Discord actually talked a little bit about this. So you can see this shell health is like 138,000. This is 126,000. And this is 140,000. So the shell health of all of these shots are pretty insane. Like it's hard to shoot this down. The thing is, now listen up here. Anti-missile missiles or anti-CRAM missiles, you know, the anti-missile system, the AMS, those fragments they do kind of area damage, and of course anti-munition warheads do area damage too. So a really competent anti-munition system can take out all of these shells in one go. If they shoot all at the same time, or basically all at the same time, which is how I usually set up things, they can all be taken out in the same shot. And this also deals kinetic damage, which does much less damage than the penetration depth detonation type, which of course the detonator is even named after. So even if you have like one shell that has higher health, that shell is more likely to go through than several shells of a slightly smaller health due to the area effect of the anti-munition warheads. And you can stagger the fire. The issue is when you stagger fire using the synchronization tab inside the firing piece, it's so damn unreliable, and it's more often than not in my experience that a cannon doesn't shoot at all. And it's not only dependent on how you set it up, because sometimes they don't follow the rules you do set up. They kind of do their own thing. It's super annoying. So if you want to have staggered fire, but that's reliable for a tournament, and the thing is, if it works on your system, it's not guaranteed it will work on another person's system. It can work on yours and then doesn't work on another person's PC. So if you send into something to like a tournament or whatever, if you have the synchronization fire set up, you might as well, like, perhaps your CRAM cannon doesn't even work, perhaps two of the barrels won't shoot at all. So that's really annoying. So, long story short, if you want to have staggered fire, you actually need to set that up with bread. And I just recently understood how to do this, and when I built all of these turrets, including the upgraded one, I didn't know how to do that. I'm very new to bread, so yeah, that's something you should probably keep in mind. That you'll need to make a breadboard to synchronize and stagger the CRAM cannons to make it reliable. Super annoying, but that's just how it is. Maybe it will be fixed in the future, I don't know. But that said, if they have similar reload speed, which two of these barrels has, they can actually be just shot down with the same anti-munition shot, which is quite annoying. And then you might as well have one shell that has higher health than these shells isolated, but of course less health than the shells combined. it's actually better because that is more likely to get through. Now, I feel that was a little bit off topic, but anyways, I made a lot of Doom CRAM systems, and basically what I wanted to say was a Doom CRAM is basically a CRAM cannon shell that gets through to the enemy battleship, has an insane health, and obviously it needs to have big damage too. But somebody told me that to make the most Doom CRAM system, the only thing you need to do is to add like one type of payload and all of the rest to be compactors. Obviously, the reload speed will be absolutely insane. It won't even be funny. You know, I have an idea for future videos, and if you want to know a hint of what I'm thinking about, you know that unyielding Hierophant airship. If not, look it up. Look at that video and you probably get my drift why I want to have Doom CRAMs in a very small size and the reload speed doesn't really work. Diff guns, you know? Anyhow, we're sidetracking too much, but I need to show you the largest CRAM cannon to date at least. That's the Holy Pyre 2000mm CRAM cannon. This makes no sense. It's an incendiary CRAM cannon. Shell health of 400 to 1000. Yeah, it has a lot of kinetic damage, to be honest, too, but obviously this it even has a hollow point version as well, because I thought hollow point incendiary might be a good idea. Turns out it's probably not, but yeah, it has a lot of incendiary. A lot of, almost a million fire fuel, and not quite, but this is you know, good times. Proper CRAM. Proper Doom CRAM, 3D Tetris. Anyways, to build the smallest type, then I think we should go into our little Tetris here. And what if we go with a 9, perhaps? 9 diameter. So what we're basically gonna do here is we're gonna go inside of this little Tetris. I think it happens to be symmetrical. And we're gonna replace each pellet with a payload compactor. And the payload compactor makes the shell more scary. Now, this CRAM cannon has an expected reload time of snail speed, but we shall see indeed. All right, is that all? I think that's actually it. So, as you might imagine, we are simply going to copy the structure, and this is so nice. Now we can just right click and delete stuff. That's so handy. All right, and we'll just stack a couple of these here, and if we'll look at it, it obviously has nothing packed, naturally. So if we basically put a frag pellet here, we should be getting the stats here. Oh yeah, 170,000 health. It's not that of a big of a system, and this is pretty insane because this is like frag. This is frag pellets. Wow. So if we had hardener pellets instead, what type of damage could we deal with hollow point? But especially the shell health, almost 600,000. That's nice. I like that. I like that. Okay, So let's make this harder than and a hollow point shell. This will be interesting. What the hell? I forgot how to use my own Tetris. This old Tetris is a little bit special because the I kind of forgot that. Okay, let's see here. Which layer is it we shouldn't copy too many times? Oh, it's the backmost layer, right? So when it comes to that, we'll basically need to like stack them like this. Otherwise, we get too many. Okay, like this. Our stats should actually be better now. Make this a hollow point and add a ordinary pellet. Let's see the stats now. 700,000. Wow. Naturally, it has a neat little reload time of 68,000 seconds. 58,000 seconds. I'm sorry, that's a lot of seconds though. Let me cringe y'all. ChatGPT, how many hours is 58,756 seconds?
Alright, let's do some quick math. So if we take 58,756 seconds and
she's so slow.
by
Just give me the answer.
Sure thing. It's approximately 16.32 hours.
Okay, that's a lot of hours. Now we know. Amazing. So 16. Well, anyways. Yeah, I had to just calculate myself and the calculator as well because I don't know. I don't trust her. So 16 hours. This is gonna reload every 16 hours. That's obviously insane, but it's a proper Doom CRAM. It costs 20,000, but yeah, that's pretty cheap. But yeah, no, this is just abysmal. Really slow. It will maybe fire once. Yeah, okay. So if we're just gonna reload this thing, so imagine we could have this cannon, but only fire it like one time. Let's shoot this shell. Let's shoot this hollow point. Holy fucking hell, that was a large one. That's kind of disappointing. What the hell? Is this all hollow point damage this does? That's sad. That's very sad. What the hell? It has to do more. That makes no sense. Okay. Well, it said 437,000 damage. I guess we can't expect more. We just reload this CRAM shell here. The kinetic damage 31 armor piercing, and it deals 743,000 damage. That's a lot of damage, of course, but it will really do jack shit against most properly built battleships. Yeah, that's like very disappointing. But the thing is, we don't need that much shell health, I think. If we just switch this pellet to like... What if it's gonna be an EMP? How much damage will it do? It's gonna do... almost 1 million EMP damage. Okay, that's fun stuff. And it managed to deal 217,000 EMP damage. You can see it takes out this row of secret hidden piece, but well, it doesn't jump and nuke the AI, so it's like wasted damage, to be honest. Yeah. I happen to know that EMP is not the best here. Incendiary will be the best here. Look, they have a new model and stuff too. Explosive is probably gonna reach some type of cap. I don't think this explosive damage will be that scary, to be honest. We should probably have a penetration depth fuse of 20. Right then. Bam. Holy shit, what happened? I don't know what happened. Oh my. I felt it did more damage, but what happened? I'm very unsure. Okay, let's turn down time a bit and fire again. We can't see anything for the smoke. Oh! Why does it like deflect? Oh, that's exactly what happened. It got deflected and now it jumps around there, and here is the big explosion. What are the chances of it deflecting 2 times like that? It deals 777, has to be a sign, 1,000 explosive damage. That's a lot of damage, which is close to the expected damage it would deal too. Well, that's pretty interesting. I think we need to fire this again. Like, what are the chances of that happening? What the hell? It gets deflected every time. That cannot be. This makes no sense. What is this? Time from first impact. I think that's more reliable. Fire again. Bam. Okay. There we go. 1.5 million explosive damage. This obviously deals a lot better damage than we did here before. But even though this damage is pretty scary, you can see if we tune this up to like 0.08, fire again. Remember, these will like fire once battle. That's not the same. Let's see, our shell health for this would be 190,000, so it would be pretty decent, but it's like it's getting stopped. Oh, it has 0.1 armor piercing, even though it has a kinetic damage of almost 300,000. That's obviously like 0.1. Oh. It's just not getting through, is it? It can't be. Well, time from first impact, yeah. Obviously, it's probably not gonna like penetrate deep at all. Good to know. Let's check out if we do this frag. However, if we have a frag, we can do some crazy penetration anyways. Setting it to like 30 degrees here. If we fire this thing here, you can see, bam, these fragments are gonna be pretty scary. We may detonate at the surface, but obviously those fragments will get through. And why will they get through? Well, because if we check the stats here, the fragments are 80 in total, and they have each a damage of 230,000 damage, which obviously will go through quite a bit, even if their AP is like 4. Interesting. Now, I happen to know that the incendiary will be the best, like, generally. Let's max the intensity and add some oxy to and fire. Obviously, this creates a big fire, and this fire is gonna like be here a while. If we refill the CRAM can, you can see that the fire damage here for calculated out is actually over 1 million. How much is that? 1 million, right? Yeah, 1 million with 40 intensity. And with 40 intensity, we are gonna burn through, like, metal's fire resistance won't really be a big issue. And we're only at, yeah, we are not at such a high damage yet. Let's get this little debug tool here. So the fuel is, yeah, we've almost used no fuel. We still have 700,000 fuel left. And oxidizer too. This is gonna burn for a while. So if you land one of these shells on the enemy, I think that incendiary CRAM will do quite some damage. And remember, this CRAM cannon, it is insane, but it only costs 20,000. That's a lot, of course, but you know, if we remember, the Holy Pyre, of course, costs 250,000. The upgraded detonator is the 176,000. Well, this is gonna burn for a while. Thing is, if we need to formulate this system a little bit, I'm wondering here, is it wise to have the only one connection for the pellet? I assume it is. I think it will max out the payload compactors. Yeah, so if we just compare a little bit here, that can just burn on. But if we, for example, take a packer and put a packer here, oh, you can see the reload time is actually halved to 30,000. That won't really do much, obviously. But nothing changes to the negative. So that's one neat thing, I suppose. Doesn't hurt. Like, but if we would, for example, replace one of these with a frag one, we could see the reload time. Interesting. Connected packers. Oh, one? Get this done. We have 5 connections here. If we put a high explosive here, the reload time is now only 11,000 seconds. Yeah, so it's probably like each of these packers obviously contribute to a good bit of damage. And that the reload time is less is like not important if we don't add enough packers, because obviously it's only gonna fire once per game. So we should probably prioritize the addition of having as many payload compactors as possible, and then adding a pellet of some kind is of course not like a bad idea, but it doesn't need to have many connections. Here it has 5 connections, it's 11,000. Remove that, place it here, and this now has 58,000, yeah. And this is a kinetic damage of almost 1 million. And if we replace one inside of here with a lot of connections attached. Man, my game is like, basically my computer is screaming. It's like wanna crash. These are 6 connected. So if we put a hardener pellet here instead, yeah, we have a reload time of only like 10,000, so interesting indeed. But it will only fire once per battle and anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. But interesting to know the difference nonetheless. And if you wanted to see that maximum type of penetration, well, look at this. Have a hardener pellet. Like, not have a fuse. And just reload it. You're gonna see it's obviously gonna go straight through. It's gonna go straight through anything. A shell like that obviously will not be able to be taken out. Not with a shell health of almost 1 million. Nobody uses civs like that, and if they do, they wasted their materials. If you can stop Doom CRAM and you're not relying on diff guns, and that obviously only will stop the first 5 volleys or so. Well, if you can regularly stop Doom CRAMs, you spend too much on defenses, in my opinion. But the Gimli tournament battles will indeed tell what's too much or not. Now, one thing I'm a bit worried about is if we add several pellets, will we like compromise our turret in any way? So if we refill this thing, if I want a mixed type of payload, let's say, we're having a shell health of 700,000. We have 1 hardener. Now we have 1 high explosive. We have 1 frag. And we have 1 incendiary. Well, now we can see the shell health is, ooh, bam, it's so much lower. For each payload we added here, it gets like diluted a little bit. Oh, it's like a amalgamation naturally. The thing with the hardener pellets is they will boost the shell health quite a bit, and the other ones will not. Well, I'm thinking then if this is, it's still like reasonable. 200,000 is not gonna be taken out too easily. Incendiary pellets. So if we had like an incendiary, because obviously this is gonna get through pretty easily. This is gonna get shot down pretty easily. It's not gonna melt through the armor as easily, was what I'm trying to say. Due to the kinetic damage while being almost 300,000, the AP is so tiny. We probably need at least 1 hardener pellet. And if we do that, we can see, damn, the kinetic damage has 20 AP suddenly. That's a big change. The big change. So, if we have that, we are not compromised in any way, it seems. It's just having like more. So them having a double connection or something like that won't really haul anything. We can make a mixed bag shell with explosive, frag, and incendiary. Maybe even EMP. We can basically have it all. So we'll deal almost 200,000 EMP damage, almost 200,000 explosive damage. Oh, look at that. Now actually the armor piercing is only 8. That's interesting. So it kind of gets drawn down by the others. And a shell health of 300,000, which is gonna get through though. Well, this is probably not a bad shell. Let's make it the penetration depth shell then. See if it bounces or not. I think it bounced before because it had too low armor piercing against the target we tried to shoot at, so it just bounced. Look at that. This is the type of damage we could deal with a shell like this, like a mixed bag. That's pretty crazy. Well, this is not a tiny system, however. So, as this is proven to work, I think we should try and see if we can piece together some even more scary setups, or like more compact setups actually. So this is a T9. What if we go down to like T7, or maybe even T5? I'm a little bit unsure if this is gonna be a size that's gonna work or not. We'll see. Now the game is acting up. Oh, obviously. I need to do like this. Okay. And we're just gonna replace all of these with payload compactors. So yeah, making like a one-shot Doom CRAM isn't very hard. We'll just need to make sure it hits on the first shell. That's actually the tricky bit. But for the unyielding Hierophant, I happened to have developed the system just for that. Okay, well that will be nice. And we're just gonna add a little piece of, well, let's select Frag. And basically see. Perhaps it is not connected up all over this. This one needs. Okay, now it is. So with this tiny system, we have only 37. Oh, that's bad. It's too. No. That's a reload time. Never mind. The shell health is 121,000. Yeah, if we make it longer, this could be acceptable. Have this as little rod here. Well, we can thus make a Doom CRAM cannon that's actually pretty tight in size. That is really good news, because I have some crazy ideas we're gonna do. Yeah, look at that. 170,000 shell health. It's obviously gonna be one-shotter, but how much does this system cost? Clocks in at 15,000, that's pretty cheap to be honest. Yeah, I have a neat idea. Anyways, if we don't want to miss the first shell, you may have noticed in a lot of battles the first shells always miss. If we want to make sure we hit the first shells, we need to make a type of delay. So a little bit quickly. To do that, we basically need to have some type of event here. So for example, a target has been spotted for the first time, like this, and now let's see how did I do it. Then we need to have a generic block setter. I'm gonna do breadboard tutorials in the future. I promise we'll do that. I know our Lieutenant Scoobrooks has asked that for a long time. It will be done eventually. But just right now, I'm just showing you some quick tips here. Right. This is actually not the one I wanted. No, that's not the one I wanted. I want to have a local weapon controller, so assume we have a local weapon controller already installed here. It is able to control this cannon. And we're gonna go to the all-in-one local weapon controller and we're gonna set the maximum fire rate. So, when target is spotted, we are going to put it to a delay pulse. And the delay pulse is gonna have a countdown time here. No, windows are definitely acting up. Anyways, let's say we're gonna give it like 7 seconds to provide a good aiming. We're gonna put it to don't reset, delay time, target spotted, there goes into the calculator. And now this is gonna output, is it gonna output 7 or is it gonna output 1? I think it's gonna output 1 here. So we put this to 40 and we are gonna set this times 40. So when it calculated itself, it can set the maximum fire delay to like 40. Now, to make it lock on exactly this, we'll need to name the all-in-one local weapon controller, of course. But basically, see if it's set this LVC here. Don't quite know if it's set it. Oh yeah, maximum fire rate 0 per second. And hopefully if we like spawn a marauder or something, that's the only thing we right. Spawn it there. We can look at a breadboard, target spotted, and it will then count down and it will set it to 40. Yeah, and it will permanently set it to 40 until like it's loaded in. So now you can see the maximum fire rate is now 40. So obviously we set that up so that it would wait for 7 seconds before even being allowed to fire, and that will basically circumvent the issue where it misses the first shot, because it can of course aim doing like this and it can like lock in and being ready to shoot, but just not firing for an extra 7 seconds, make sure the first volley tend to hit a lot more often. Yeah, well, I think we tested Doom CRAM cannon systems a little bit here. It's not very difficult, just have compactors, just like I heard, nothing more complex. Then we have a pellet and we can have all the pellets or none of them, and it won't really affect the turret in any negative way. It's just adding on, so they're not like diluting the system per se. Well, I have some crazy ideas, however, but that will have to wait. Yeah, well, that was a little bit info of Doom CRAM systems, and it was interesting. It was so easy to actually set it up using a one-shot system, so we can basically make a CRAM cannon that's a little bit of a one-shotter. It obviously relies on how many connections to packers we have. And this is one thing you need to know about packers. You know, pellets, they can share their full packing, like pellet packing capacity between different barrels. This is not true for the payload compactors. They will kind of be shared in a bad way between barrels. So even though having multiple connections to them are beneficial for multi-barrel systems too, it's not as important because they are sharing the capacity. Yeah, good to know. Not like pellets, quite indeed not. Well, anyways, I'll need to do some more tutorials, but we're gonna be back with checking that out later. Just wanted to test this little quick thing, and I realized a quick thing is like half an hour for me. That's insane. Anyways, hope you enjoyed watching, and do check out the GMODISM channel for more from-depth content. We actually moved some of our videos there to not clutter the main channel, so it's a recommendation to check out if you haven't already. In any case, this is your host, Eric of GMODISM, signing out.